We're going to continue now in our Seder with step 2, Urchatz, the first washing of our hands. This one does not have a blessing with it, because unlike the second blessing of Rachsa, where we wash our hands and we sit down actually for a meal, which we are commanded, it's a mitzvah to wash our hands before eating a meal, this Urchatz gets us just spiritually ready through the washing of our hands to get any last chametz, whether physical or spiritual, off of ourselves before we sit down to the bread of affliction, to the matzah, in just a moment, that we will uncover for the first time. We say we will wash our hands twice during our Seder, now with no blessing, to get us ready for the rituals to come. And then again later we'll wash again with a blessing, preparing for the meal. Too often during our daily lives we don't stop and take the moment to prepare for whatever it is we're about to do. So we pause now as we wash our hands to consider what we hope to get out of our evening together. And at this point in my Seder at my house, I typically will send one of my children to ceremoniously wash their hands on behalf of the whole group. Usually both of them end up wanting to go. We move now to page 10, onto Karpas, the green vegetable. The Karpas is a green vegetable, and it's the first part of the Seder that will make this night different from all other nights. So far, the first glass of wine and the hand washing, though significant, do not serve to mark any sort of difference because they are regular parts of our meals. The Karpas, however, is not. As a night marked by difference, that difference will begin now. Tonight we celebrate difference with the Karpas. Here, difference brings us hope, joy, and renewed life. We also know that with difference can come pain and tears. We have shed these tears ourselves, and we have caused others to shed tears. Some say we dip the Karpas in salt water to remind ourselves of Joseph, whose brothers sold him into slavery and then dipped his fabulous Technicolor dreamcoat into blood to bring back to their father Jacob. Difference can also be dangerous. Tonight we will dip the Karpas, and in this case it's the parsley, into salt water, and as we taste it, we taste both the fresh celebratory hope of difference and the painful blood and tears that have come with it. So we now dip our Karpas in the salt water, and we raise it up to say the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'adamah. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence fills creation, who creates the fruit of the earth. Turning to 11, we are now on step 4 of Yachatz. And to begin Yachatz, we take our matzah and we take out the middle of the 3 pieces of matzot. Break it in half. And we take the bigger half and we place it aside to be used later as the afikomen, a piece of matzah that will be hidden at some point during the Seder to be found, and before it is found, the meal cannot finish. We cannot say grace after meal until the afikomen is found and eaten. So we say about the afflicted matzah, the top matzah and the bottom matzah are, it is said, Pesach substitutes for the 2 loaves of challah on Shabbat, supposedly a reminder of the 2 portions of manna they received in the desert every Friday before Shabbat. But the middle matzah? That's for the Seder. We break it in half and call it the bread of affliction. Just like the unleavened bread we ate as we fled slavery, matzah number 2, the afflicted matzah. We break it in half and separate ourselves from joy, so we don't forget the pain that has been ours. We break it in half and separate ourselves from the joy, so we can remember the pain of others. All this pain lives in this first half of the afflicted matzah. And we eat this half now so that we do not forget that we were slaves, so that we do not enslave others. But we separate the second half of the afflicted matzah, the afikomen, from all that hurt, so that we do not forget the joy that can follow the sorrow, so that we don't forget the times that we changed things for the better. And after the meal we will search for that happiness, and we will find it. And then we eat the afikomen together, so we don't forget that it is good to be alive, and we are obligated to share that joy. Blessed Oneness, we are so grateful for the obligations to remember pain and share joy. Amen. We now move in our Haggadah on page 12 to step 5, that of Maggid, the telling of the Passover tale.
Just recline right back and you'll hear a tale of a dreadful trip that started with 10 awful plagues brought unto Egypt. The boss, he was a Jewish man, raised as a Pharaoh's son. Then God, he did come calling, and soon the fun begun. More blood, such frogs, and all those bugs Pharaoh could just barely see. The Jews were reeling, scoring points, and soon they would be free. They schlepped and schlepped for 40 years across the desert land. He went up to Mount Sinai, and a party soon began. There's Moses, the Pharaoh too, Aaron, and his wife, Marianne, the skipper too, here on the desert island.